Welcome to the Motor Marvel. My name's Salvatore, and today we have the 2025 Kia EV9 GT-Line. Excuse my voice, I have lost it. So throughout this review, I am going to sound like I've smoked 20 packs of cigarettes in one given day. So sorry about that, but nonetheless, let's talk about this EV9. Where does this 7-seat electric SUV sit in the market? Well, to be fair, the EV9 has very little direct competition. With the Tesla Model X now no longer being sold in Australia, I wonder, can this EV9 replace the Tesla Model X as a very good or even better alternative to the Tesla Model X? Well, that's what we're going to find out in today's review. So stay tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss another time we make an upload of a car just like this. Right, the design of the Kia EV9. A lot of manufacturers just copy the Tesla's look and make the same kind of looking car, which, look, I don't mean to be slack, but I think the Teslas look like a bloated fish. This, on the other hand, has its own unique look. And this unique look goes for the whole EV range with Kia, with the EV3, the EV5, and now the EV9. It looks really, really nice. I honestly really like it. Many might think that it is very polarizing and very boxy. I like that it looks like a Matchbox car, right? And it doesn't look like a bloated fish. Now, the one we have is the GT line. It's the top spec. This is priced in at $121,000 before on-road costs. Now, that might seem like a lot of money, but again, there aren't many competitors to this car. And the ones that are really expensive. For example, the EQS, which is really expensive, and it prices this car out of existence. And then the EQB, which is smaller and not as large. So to be fair, it sits amongst a very, very small market, and I think it's doing a very good job at that, especially with its looks. So I like these LED front headlights. I like this front bumper. I like the fact that you've got these vents that open and close to cool the batteries. And I like this blue paint. The gloss blackness continues around the side of the car, around the cladding, around the door mirrors, for the roof rails, and even where the windows are. What I don't like are these digital mirrors. Why in the hell do you have to reinvent something that already works so well? And if you are going to do digital mirrors, why not put a little camera here, then actually creating a mirror? Like, look at this. I'll open the car, which also, to let you know, has hideaway door handles, which I really do like. So that is a plus. But look, it protrudes like a normal mirror. So why not just put a mirror on it? This, I'd hate to imagine how expensive it would cost if someone had to do this and knock it off, or someone had to hit it off altogether with their car. Why? And then, what are those? Like, honestly, you got 21-inch alloy wheels covered with a hubcap that looks hideous. Look, I know it's all for aerodynamics, but those wheels just ruin the design of the car, personally. But let's go to the rear. So you come to the rear here, you got LED rear taillights, you got the Kia badge here, you got GT line there, and you got EV9 down there, and you got this gloss black rear bumper. Let me know, guys, what you think of the design in the comments. But like I said, I really do like this because I think Kia is making a statement and making presence on the road, showing people that this is distinctively a Kia EV9, and it's not like any other electric 7-seat SUV. Let's talk about the dimensions of the EV9 GT line, because it is a big car. So for starters, length is 5,010 millimeters. Width is 1,980. Height is 1,755. Ground clearance is at 177 millimeters, which is good because it does have an all-terrain mode, allowing this 7-seat SUV to go off-road, if you could say that, to a campsite. And knowing that you have at least that ground clearance plus that all-terrain mode makes it a little bit easier, knowing that it can't just be used for just daily commutes. It can also be used as a weekend warrior sometimes. I really say that lightly. So what do you get under the hood? Well, you get nothing because it's an electric car. It's underneath here. You get a 99.8 kilowatt hour battery that powers two motors, one at the front and one at the rear, giving this EV a all-wheel drive setup. and producing a staggering 283 kilowatts and 700 newton meters of torque. So what does that mean for a 0 to 100 time? Well, it means a 5.3 second 0 to 100 time, which is pretty astounding considering the size of this car. What's the charging like on this Kia EV9 and range? And most importantly, can you open? Well, that's anticlimactic. 1 second. Can you? Yeah, there we go, we got it. So max DC charging is at 270 kilowatts. Claim range is at 505 kilometers. And your efficiency, well, around about 22.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is not too bad. So what do you get in the front? Well, you get 90 liters of capacity, which is big enough for your charging cables. Boot capacity. You have an electronic tailgate, which is nice when it wants to work. You have 330 litres of boot capacity with the third row up, which is pretty insane. Then with the third row down, you have 828 litres of boot capacity. And then you press a button here and you load down the second row and you have just over 2,300 litres of boot capacity, which is pretty astounding. And then you got a 240 volt power outlet here in case you want to charge your laptop or even some camping gear. Then you got a tie down point here. You got a 12 volt socket here. And you've got some storage under here for your parcel shelf, which is neatly hidden away, which is nice. And a tire repair kit and some netting. Before we talk about the interior, I just want to show you guys this. Plus and minus. So, just in case you're inept, Kia has thankfully put a plus sign on the accelerator and a minus sign on the brake to show you which one accelerates and which one brakes. I think that is quite comical. Okay, you ready for the safety tech? I want you guys to time this. Just 1 second, I have some tea. Because of my throat. 3, 2, 1, start the timer. Autonomous emergency braking, adaptive cruise control with stop go, blind spot assist, lane keep assist, lane following assist, rear cross traffic assist, safe exit assist, intelligent speed limit assist, driver attention and monitoring, I hate you, leading vehicle departure alert, rear occupant alert, front and rear parking sensors, a 360-degree camera, parking collision avoidance assist, and that's about it. So what do I think of the overall design of the interior? I think it's a really well laid out interior. You have physical buttons, a knobby thing for your volume control. You got these haptic feedback buttons here. Now, while these haptic feedback buttons do give you a nice response, when there is direct sunlight on them, you cannot see what they are, which is a real big shame. But at night, they illuminate. It's a bit of annoyance. I wish they did have more coloring to them because they just blend in with this dash. The dash, on the other hand, is really nice. You've got soft touch here. You've got, scratchy down low, but who cares? It's down low. You really don't expect it. You've got soft touch on the doors. The seats are finished in this leatherette finish. And then you've got this steering wheel. Not the biggest fan of it, but it does illuminate at night and it does look quite decent enough with the whole rest of the layout of the dash and the interior itself. Plus, you get a really nice suede roof lining. Now, you might have noticed I changed seats, and there's a good reason for that. It's to showcase these phenomenal leatherette seats. I absolutely love them. They're very supportive and they're very comfortable. But the best part about them, excluding the fact that they come in this two-tone effect with this black and cream leather, which is really nice, and this phenomenal headrest, which just feels so nice to put your head on, is they fully recline into a lazy boy, which I absolutely love. Meaning, when you're a bit stressed out and you're going on a long journey, you can play some soothing music through the Meridian sound system and sit back and relax. Now, the same function happens to the driver's seat, but of course you can't use it while you drive. You can only use it when you're charging the car, which is still cool. Both seats are electronically adjustable. They're heated and cooled. The driver's one gets a massage function. The passenger, however, gets none. You got dual climate controls, and you get a heated steering wheel. In terms of tech and connectivity, well, for starters, you get two 12.3-inch screens. One is your infotainment screen and one is your digital driver's display. And you get a head-up display. In terms of the digital driver's display, my biggest gripe with this is you're spending $121,000 for a very luxurious 7-seat electric SUV. And the graphics they used on this digital driver's display is exactly the same as a Kia K4. What? Like, what? Why wouldn't you come up with something a bit more, classy, elegant? I'm pretty sure you have an immense amount of tech in your lineup to design something a bit more, elegant. That's a bit of a shame. Look, it does do its job by showing you everything you need, but I do find that a bit of a, disappointment considering the car that it's in. But the touchscreen, on the other hand, is very nice. It's very quick. It's very responsive. It's got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You also got this little screen here for all your climate controls, meaning you don't have to constantly go through here. It's always on display, which is really nice. The only problem is the steering wheel does block its view. Then you have USB-C charging down here, a 12-volt socket, a wireless phone charger for your phone right here, storage and practicality. But before I touch on that, I will touch on these mirrors. Again. Why? Look, it's so obtrusive. It's like what they've done is they've gone, let's redesign the mirror, but make it way more difficult and just take up space for no apparent reason. Like, you've got this and then that. I know I keep going on about it, but it just does my head in. But what doesn't do my head in is the amount of storage in this car. For starters, you've got big enough door bins for your water flask. You got these really cool cup holders here, which you can literally hide away by pressing these buttons here to make them either bigger or smaller. And then it's got like a roller shutter to close it, which is nice. You've got storage down here. You've got a decent sized center console. Like, it's not the largest, but you've got so much storage down there that you kind of forget about that. You got a decent glove box. And you also have a sunroof, which is really cool. And you've got one at the rear, but unfortunately that doesn't open because it's just a moonroof. But nonetheless, it allows for a lot of light in here, considering it's a bit dark with the privacy glass on the rear and the rear blinds. Second row. Well, for starters, you have ridiculous amount of knee room. You have plenty of room to stretch underneath the seat in front, and you have a decent amount of headroom. And the seats can recline and also slide backwards and forth. They also have ISOFIX anchor points for both outboard seats and top tether points. They are heated and cooled, which is insane. And you have this flat floor, making it really easy to fit 3 people in the back. You have stupid amount of storage. You got this massive bin here. You got 2 cup holders. You got decent amount of room in the door bins. You got these map pockets. You got USB-C charging on the back of the seats. You can adjust the passenger seat at the front to make a bit more room for the baby, or you can irritate the passenger, which is funny. So that is pretty cool. You also have climate control functions on the ceiling, which is really nice, separate to the front, so you can adjust here in the second row and in the third row. And you also have blinds that are integrated into the doors to make it easy when you have a baby in the back. Plus, one of my favorite features in this Kia has to be its digital rear view mirror. See, with most 7-seat SUVs, when you have 3 passengers in the back here, that rear view is blocked. But Kia's thought, you know what? Let's give it a digital rear view mirror to make it easier for mum and dad when they're driving. This has to be one of the most elegant and user-friendly way of getting into the third row. That is so good. All right, let's try this out. So I'm going to get in the back. And how is it? All right. All right. So with the seat in its position right now, there's no knee room for me. Like, my knees are hard up against this seat. Look, for adults, I wouldn't recommend it being back here because it's very uncomfortable. But for a kid, it's pretty decent. You have 2 cup holders, you got USB-C charging at the back here, and you have air vents like an airplane, which is really nice. So you can stay cool. But please, whatever you do, do not put an adult back here. It is punishment. Also, there's ISOFIX anchor points and top tether points for the third row. And the middle seat in the second row has a top tether point as well. All right, guys, before we set off, I will warn you, this car is littered and inundated with safety tech, as you previously heard me rattling off on the list of safety tech this car comes with. Now, if that safety tech gets on your nerves, it might be a main factor to keep you away from buying the Kia EV9 as your family car, because honestly, they can get on your nerves, especially the driver attention and monitoring system. It honestly is one of the most annoying systems, and to turn it off, you have to go through so many options through the infotainment screen to turn it off, and that goes for every other system. The only thing you can mute on the steering wheel is the speed sign recognition warning system, which is, again, annoying. I just wish with all these systems, when they do design these cars, I understand they have to have them, that they just had a designated button placed either on the dash, the steering wheel, to turn everything off. Other than that, let's take this thing for a drive, because it is very impressive considering how big it is. It drives really well, and it's a really nice car to live with day to day. So what's the Kia EV9 like to drive? Well, guys, it's pretty rapid. So if you put your foot down, yep, that's right. 0 to 100 is dealt with in 5.3 seconds, which is pretty rapid considering how heavy this thing is. It is a big behemoth. So for the car to do 0 to 100 in that time is pretty astonishing. Another thing to note is that you do have 4 different drive modes. So you got Sport, My Drive, Eco, and Normal. You've also got terrain modes. Now, you're not going to take this off-road, but if by any means you decide to go camping, you've got some terrain modes. So you've got snow, mud, and sand. And to be fair, it probably will do pretty well on some off-road tracks that lead to campsites, since it's all-wheel drive and the ground clearance is not that bad because you've got 2 electric motors, all-wheel drive setup. Right, so back to the driving. So how is it like day to day? Well, it's very comfortable, very quiet, and the visibility is fantastic, except for the fact that you've got to deal with these digital mirrors, which, again, I can't stand. I just wish they had physical mirrors. And the fact that you cannot get this, the top line GT-Line, with the physical mirrors, it's quite annoying because it might deter you from buying the GT-Line altogether. But other than that, I do like everything else about it, right? You can tell that the suspension has been tuned on Australian roads because it deals with bumps very easily. The brake feels really nice. And another thing that I like about Kia is the fact that they use the paddles behind the steering wheel to adjust the single pedal drive mode. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of single pedal drive mode. I'd much rather just put my foot on the brake and brake when I want to. But you can adjust it, and you can go full one pedal drive by going all the way to setting 4, right, which is called the max mode, and you can literally just drive with one pedal. Now, I don't like it because I feel like the car just starts making me sick, so I just turn it off completely. But I do like how the paddles are behind the steering wheel, easily accessible, rather than going through endless menus to get to that mode, to change all those settings. Now, another thing that you have to realize is that since this is a big and heavy car, you do tend to fall out of your seat when you turn corners. Now, it's not the worst thing in the world, but I do kind of hate the fact that it does feel a bit boaty. Like, it is comfortable, don't get me wrong. On long journeys, you can really take this car up the coast or down the coast, and trust me, it will deal with it really well. But when you turn corners, you do feel yourself just moving out of the seat sometimes, and it just feels a bit boaty. But all in all, I really do like this Kia EV9. It has a lot of positive aspects of it that makes it a very, very user-friendly family SUV. And yeah, so I can't complain too much about it. I really do like it. It's comfortable, it's quiet, it's very easy to live with. Parking, on the other hand, is a bit difficult sometimes due to the sheer size. But because you've got all the cameras, it makes it very, very easy as well. So, Kia, you've done a fantastic job on the EV9. I think for a practical 7-seat family electric SUV, it ticks a lot of boxes and is a decent car to live with. Since this is the Motor Marvel and we love cars, we have to give this the Motor Marvel rating. So, what is the Motor Marvel rating? We'll simply go to the caption below and read what the Motor Marvel rating is. But in a nutshell, we give cars a rating on what does it give us emotionally, you know, because we love cars and we think cars are more than just a means of transport. So what kind of emotion does the car give you as a feedback when you drive it? Does it make you smile? Does it make you love every time you get in it? So what does this Kia EV9 get out of 10? Well, for starters, let's throttle, put it into sport mode. So, sport. Yeah, that's pretty fast. So, tick of approval for acceleration, because 0 to 100 is dealt with in 5.3 seconds. And look, considering the weight of this behemoth at just over 2,600 kilos, it deals with corners really well. It really does deal with the corners very well. Steering's really nice, it's really well weighted, the brake feels really nice, and it's not that bad. Yes, it is a bit boaty, I will say that. It will throw you out of your seat if you really do want to go pretty hard in the corners. But other than that, it's all pretty put together really well as a package. I really do like what Kia has done with the EV9. So I know it's an electric car and it's not particularly a sport SUV, but it does tick a lot of boxes for someone that wants to use this as a family commuter around town and have their weekend car in the garage and still get some sort of enjoyment when they get into this. So what Motor Marvel rating do I give the Kia EV9? Well, I'll give it a healthy 5 out of 10. It's not blisteringly awesome in terms of Motor Marvel presence and in terms of what we consider a driver's car or driver's car in terms of an SUV, but it does have some elements to it that can still put a smile on your face and still make you want to get in it every day. But that's the Motor Marvel rating. If you're not really concerned with how a car drives or makes you feel, and you just want something that's very user-friendly, well, this Kia might be the Kia for you. So what's my final verdict on this EV9? Well, look, if the price tag is a bit eye-watering for you, consider this. The range does start off with the Air, priced in at $97,000 before on-road costs. Now, it might not come with all the trinkets this does have, but it does come with a lot of cool standard things. So, do I think it's a good replacement for the Tesla Model X? Yes, it really is. Honestly, I think, well, for starters, it's a good-looking car. It is undeniably a Kia. You know, all the other brands, they kind of blend in with each other, but with this, it is a Kia and you cannot deny it. It looks cool. And then there's the ride. It's comfortable, the space. There's so much room in there for the kids and the family. And then it's a bit sporty. So if you're in the market for a very user-friendly 7-seat electric SUV, the Kia EV9 is not a bad choice at all.